Welcome to the Paint, Rest, Repeat podcast with Ros and
Laura Day, where we chat about our creative lives as artists while keeping it real and a little bit messy.
We're here to inspire creatives just like you to push past those boundaries and make art that you love. Let's dive in. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Paint, Rest, Repeat. This week we have the lovely Bree Morrison here, and Bree is an artist and will be talking to us specifically about how to own your unique identity as an artist using human design. So welcome, Bree.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
We're a little bit excited.
Yay.
Yeah.
I've been super excited for this episode. Yay.
So Bree, would you like to tell everyone a little bit about your art practice? Because I just gave you a really, descriptive introduction of Bree is an artist, and I feel like you could elaborate. What do you think?
Well, I would call myself maybe a contemporary landscape artist, focusing mostly on Australian landscapes. My paintings are very colourful, very bold, and quite intuitively made. So I don't really have like a laid out plan for them. They kind of just come together as I paint them. And I've been painting for coming up on 5 years now as like a professional artist. But I've been a creative and an artist forever since I was born. Yeah.
Amazing. And you're based in Victoria, is that right? Australia?
Yeah, in Victoria, just outside of Melbourne. Yeah.
Does your location, do you feel like your location influences your artwork?
It does, yeah. I live just on the edge of the Macedon Ranges here in Victoria, so I'm really influenced by the beautiful mountains and the trees and the bird life that we have around here. But also I reflect back to my landscape of childhood a lot as well. So yeah, it kind of chops and changes between the two. Yeah.
Gorgeous. And if you're listening, sorry, Laura, if you're listening just on the audio now, make sure you head over to YouTube as well, because behind Bree, there are a number of her works there. So you can help to sort of visualize what Bree is talking about. Sorry, Laura, over back to you.
Bree, you were talking about your childhood. Did you want to tell us about little artist Bree and your art journey when in the younger years?
Yeah, so I didn't grow up in a creative family or even in an area where art was sort of thought of as a thing, because I lived really remote in New South Wales, and I was always drawing. Mum would say, if I couldn't find you, I knew you were somewhere with a pen in your hand drawing something. So, and I was always a very quiet child, really quiet, but just always being creative, always making stuff, always drawing, writing, just into anything that was creative.
Yeah, amazing. And then so after so you were obviously quite skilled at creativity, and so during school and after school, what was that journey? Did you follow a creative path, or did you get a job doing something else?
Yeah, so when I was in year 12, I did art as one of my major subjects at school, and then I had a little break after I finished school and worked for a while, and then I decided that I was going to go back to uni, and I did a Bachelor of Fine Art. And then at that point in time was social media was just beginning. People didn't really use it the way they do now. And so I went down the traditional route of becoming a teacher, and I was an art and a design teacher for a long time. And I didn't really have my own practice again until my daughter was born. Yeah.
Very interesting, isn't it? And now you're full time in art, or you're a professional artist now. And so
Yeah.
how did you go about sort of making that transition into, professional artist life? Because like I know, for example, for me, when I had my two young kiddos and transitioned into art and started to take art a little bit more seriously, it wasn't like a linear sort of a journey. What do you have any tips maybe for some listeners today that are really keen to go from that I like to make art to, oh no, I am an artist?
Yep. So I came from the sort of the standpoint of I I need to do something for me because I was looking after a little baby at that point. And I just naturally gravitated back to making art. So it was just small things in little journals and things to begin with, things that I could do with her on my lap. And then it just started to grow from there. And I guess like the best thing that I did was I started sharing it on Instagram. So I actually started to notice how many people were sharing their art on Instagram at that point, because it was 2017. So it was kind of like starting to pick up the pace with artists sharing on Instagram at that point. And I suddenly had like the epiphany that like, oh, I should be like sharing my work. I should be putting it out there. And that was really hard to start with because I didn't I didn't value my creativity in the beginning. It took a lot of work to get to that point where I did value it. But once I started sharing it and I started to get like feedback from people, then it just sort of snowballed from there. And then I started to paint more and paint bigger and experiment. And yeah, and then I eventually approached the gallery that I'm with now, and it just kind of all went from there. Yeah.
I'm sitting here wondering, do you remember the first time you said publicly, I am an artist?
Oh gosh.
You might not, but I do wonder if
Hmm.
maybe some of our listeners might remember saying that themselves for the first time, because it's quite a leap
Yeah.
to make.
Yeah, it is. It is a big leap, and a lot of people still, like professional artists, still struggle to call themselves artists. So I honestly can't remember when I did that, but it must have been somewhere along the line.
Somewhere,
Yeah.
definitely. What about you, Laura? Do you remember? Now I've just gone chatty, everybody. It's okay. Laura, do you remember the first time that you said that?
I'm racking my brain as you're speaking, and I was trying to think, because when you fill in forms for like general things, like say you go to new doctor and it's like occupation and things like that. I feel like it might have been in some transition point, like when I was moving from like my part-time gig economy, like having like a cafe job or a retail job on the side, and then my art stuff. So it must have been in that like in between bit, yeah, when I was transitioning. And it would have been, it'd be around the time that I was starting my business too, I think, maybe 2010-ish. But I also had a background in visual arts training. So that sort of friction wasn't as big for me. I imagine that maybe some self-taught artists might have that, stumbling block when they are coming into that identity and calling themselves an artist. I imagine.
I do know trained artists though who regularly exhibit who cannot call themselves an artist. So it's really interesting to dissect, to look at that. Like, what do I need in order to call myself an artist? Like, what is that thing? And I feel like we're all different.
Well, I still tend to introduce myself as a teacher. I'm a teacher. So yeah, it still happens. So yeah.
Interesting, isn't it? Now, you did mention that you're with a gallery. I'd love to know, firstly, I do actually already know, but the listeners might want to know what gallery you're with, and also what sort of a role that played in your journey.
Yeah, so the first gallery that I joined was Art to Art with Philippa. And joining her stables just like did so much for my creative career as an artist. At that point, I didn't want to have all of the pressure of, having to be solely responsible for marketing my work, selling my work, packing my work, all of that stuff. So I really wanted to go down the route of having someone do that for me. And I really wanted to focus on building my art practice. That was what was important to me. And also because during that time, I had my daughter and then I had my son. So I had two very small children as well. So I didn't want to spend all my energy doing things other than painting. So I let myself just be immersed in that process during that time. And being with Art to Art just catapulted my art career, really. Yeah.
Amazing. So can we touch on the human design aspect, because I really find it really interesting. Is this an okay transition point?
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
conversation?
Yeah. It's perfect.
So we started off the episode and Ros introduced the topic of conversation, talking about how you can own your unique identity as an artist using human design. And some of the listeners here today might not even know what human design is. So would you like to introduce us to the world of human design and give us just a brief intro to what it means to you?
And maybe also, sorry, I'm interjecting, and maybe also to tell us about how it applies to your practice, because I feel like it's built into your journey as well. So that'll help to segue beautifully.
Yeah, no problem. So human design, it's an amazing tool to use to be able to understand yourself like on a deeper level, and you can apply it to almost like any aspect of your life. But obviously as an artist, I've used it to apply it to my creative practice. And so human design is it's a tool. It's a tool for understanding yourself, kind of like any I like it Myers-Briggs and those sorts of personality type tests, but it seems to go a lot deeper and it's way more nuanced, and you can understand yourself on a really deep level if you want to. Or even just knowing like some basics about human design can help you kind of be more aligned and work in an aligned way with your energetic blueprint, what you came here, your purpose, what you came here to be and do in the world, basically. So the actual the human design map is made up of 4 sort of ancient wisdoms. So we have the I Ching, and we have the Kabbalah, we have the chakra system, and we have astrology, all overlaid on each other. And then it also brings in the modern science of the quantum as well, and how we flow with the energy of the universe. So it is really complex, but once you start digging deeper, for me, it was just like eye-opening. Like, it's just like, wow. Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. Like, I think I might have first discovered it or dived deeper into this topic with you, Bree, actually, because you did a report for me a while ago. And I think it's just that self-knowledge piece and accepting who you are. And then, as you're saying, running your life or your business or your art practice, whatever it is, in a way that actually aligns with that. And because you've also done Laura's chart, I think, and Laura and I are both very different. So maybe maybe you might want to sort of share some of the types of human design, and you're welcome to use us as an example if that's helpful.
Yeah, okay. So basically, like, the fundamental, like, overarching sort of themes in human design is the human design types. But it's best to think of that as like a container of your purpose, because they can be quite generalized, and it's not about getting you stuck in a particular way of being. It's about just getting to understand yourself. So for you, Ros, you're a manifesting generator, And Laura, you're a mental projector, and I am a pure generator. And there's two more types. There's a manifester and a reflector. And each one of those types has a different way of being in the world, responding to the world, and just creating within the world as well. Yeah. So did you want me to like elaborate on something there?
Oh, I just feel like being in business and being an artist is like an amazing personal development tool in itself. And that's why I was so excited for this conversation with you, Bree, today, because we're introducing our audience to another way that they can discover more about themselves, discover more about, how they be in the world, how they show up, how like their energy flows and all of that sort of stuff. And me finding my human design, being a projector, it was like almost like this big permission slip for myself and being like, okay, I am totally different. And the way that I use energy in the world and be is totally different to, the masses, because projectors are only a small percentage of
Yeah. Yeah.
the population. Is that
So
right?
so it goes generator types. So the MGs and the generators are like the biggest percentage. I think it's about 60% of the population are generator types. And then it goes to projectors and then manifestors, and then reflectors are like about 1% of the population.
Okay.
It's only a tiny percentage of the population are reflectors. And so far at the charts that I've looked at for artists in particular, Laura's been the only projector that I've come across. All the rest have been manifesting generators or generators.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder
Yeah.
how that's influenced your art practice. Like, I know, not like as in your painting, like your actual painting part of your practice, rather than just like the art business at large. At large. That's like, sounds like there's something dangerous at large. But anyway, never mind.
Well, I figured that I've talked about this in the podcast before. I work in cycles. So like I have like a focus, like goal, then I create for a certain thing, and then I have time to like rest and reflect. And then like I realized I can't take on big project after big project after big project, because I just need that time to myself. And yeah, it's just been really amazing, because at like points in my life, I felt like I was lazy for like needing time to recuperate and rest. And it's like, well, I can't show up in the world that way.
Yeah. And that's true for a projector as well. You do need to have those cycles of rest built into your work life. And like it's said that projectors aren't really built for like the 9 to 5 kind of job. And they need to find a way of being able to work within their own sort of energy cycles. Whereas generators and manifesting generators have lots of energy, because we have the sacral energy active and consistent within us all the time. But we, as generators, we need to be careful that we're saying yes to the right things. So we're working on things that light us up and things that are moving us towards our goals and our ambitions, and not taking on tasks that just because we have the energy to do it, because it actually burns us out. So it's quite different, the energy between the generators and projectors and manifestors and reflectors. Yeah.
So I was just sort of thinking recently, I think I only had a penny drop yesterday actually, that I really love a challenge, and I really do not like busy everyday work. Like if you're a client of mine, it's okay, I've got you back. But like, I do love like the challenge piece. Is that a manifesting generator thing?
Yeah, I'd say so, because manifesting generators like to they like to pull apart things. So say like we're conditioned to work a certain way, a manifesting generator will come along and pick out the pieces that make it more efficient, put it all back together. And so they like breaking things apart and building a new way of doing something that is often way more efficient than how it was done before.
Oh, I like that. It's like this, you know, when an artist will come to me and say, you know, I can't do this. I can't build my business. I've got this challenge, but it's never going to happen. I don't know how. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's an invite. I can see that. Let me help you. Like, it's like, it's a challenge and I love it. Like, I love it so much. It's like solving a puzzle and making sure everyone comes up on top. Like, I don't know why. I'm addicted to it. It gives me, it energizes me. Yeah.
Yeah, it energizes you. Yeah. Whereas when you're doing like just the everyday sort of things, that's a drain. That's a drain on your energy.
100%.
Yeah. So you have to be like really conscious of not overdoing, like making a balance of those things, like
not doing admin. Is that what you're saying, Bree?
Well, I think it's like when you can, you would outsource that to someone who loves doing admin, you know, and that would be their like life purpose, their life force would go into doing that because they love doing it, if that makes sense.
So you know what? I am sitting here thinking that we need to talk less about me mainly and more about our beautiful listeners. If they would like to find out about what the human design is, like what I know you offer like a whole human design reading thing, but is there like a first step just to work out what their I was going to say sign, what their type is, and then perhaps to book in with you to go a bit deeper into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go onto a website called Genetic Matrix and you can plug in your details. So you need your name, you need the place where you were born, and you need your exact birth time. So if you don't have that, it gets a little bit tricky. And you can plug that information in and it'll put your chart up in front of you. So you can, and it'll tell you all the information down the side of the chart as well. And it'll tell you what type you are and all of the other information that comes with human design. And then you'll sit there and go, okay.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, finding out your chart or getting your chart, understanding your, being told your type, that's like entry level, because then you're sitting there going, what on earth does this even mean? So I did do, like Bree, you did do a report for me, which was absolutely amazing, like super comprehensive. And I just highlighted basically the whole document because I'm like, this is me all over, and this is going to really help me as well in my art practice. Laura, Bree did one for you too, I think.
Yeah, when I got my chart done, I guess looking it up, like seeing like the little human, and then all of the numbers and all of the bits and pieces. Like, I think, you know, you find out your type and then you can do a bit of Googling, like, so like being like a mental projector, like you can like put that into Google, like you can have a little read and like that sort of explains a little bit. But doing the reading just gives like so much extra clarity and depth. And Bree would know, you know, different aspects and give you suggestions on how to utilize your energy best. So there's lots of stuff that you miss if you just go onto a website, plug in your date of birth and things like that. You can get basic information, but doing the actual reading with someone is so much more beneficial, because then you can ask questions and then you can dive in like a bit deeper, because it is like, I'm sure that lots of artists are going to run out and plug in their info into this chart, and then they'll look at it and they'll be like, oh my gosh, like what is this world that I'm opening up to? What is this, you know, intricate system? But yeah, I think getting a proper reading is the way to go to understand it deeper and just get some sort of lifestyle suggestions and things that you can do to utilize your energy the best.
What I really love as well about this whole model, but your take on this as well, Bree, is that it's not prescriptive. Like, it's not, this is a document and this is you and this is who you are and this is who you shall become. This is who you are forever. Like, this is like, it's not like a locked in thing. I feel like you're particularly holistic with your approach to human design. So it's more like, this is an indication of your strengths and what lights you up. And then you take the bits out of that are relevant for you. And I think that's, I don't know, I feel like that is quite novel, because usually people who specialize in a particular, what would you call this? A methodology? No, a particular model like this, say people who are right into astrology or people who are right into, I was going to say, what's the other one? Oh, Ayurveda, whatever it is. They tend to be like, this is it. This is the system. This is, and it's very, very straight. But you've got a really beautiful holistic approach. And I love that about how you do this. Bree.
And that's how I was taught to read charts as well. So my mentor, Emma Dunwoody, she's an amazing coach with human design. And she's taught thousands and thousands of people how to unpack charts. And her sort of focus was on that this is not a dogma, like it's not set in stone. You take what works with you and you use that to your advantage, and then you just discard the rest. And it might be that she refers to it as the human design experiment. So you can take parts of your chart and different information from your chart, and you can apply it to your life and experiment with it, and you can get the results. And you can decide, did that work? No, not so much. I'm going to not do that again. Or, yeah, that really worked for me. I'm going to keep going down that path. And that actually felt good, and it felt aligned to what I'm supposed to be doing. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing about it, is that it isn't like you must do this or you are this person. Like, it's not like that at all.
Hey Bree, as a generator type, what are the things, like what are the lessons that you've taken from human design to like help you in your day-to-day or accept projects or, you know, just run your business?
So as a generator, the biggest thing I learned was to do things that light me up, like things that bring me joy, things that are like come easily to me as well, and try as much as I can to not take on all the responsibilities that come my way. Like, I was really bad at delegating things and I still am, because I'm just like, oh, just do it myself. Like, So, and then I learned that I have more energy and my cup is full when I'm doing things that light me up. And that's the way that generators are made to work. They're made to work on things that excite them, and they're like lit up by it, and just they're like a force to be reckoned with when they're like doing stuff that they're just passionate about. But they go the opposite way when they're doing things that aren't fulfilling them. Like, they just like become really sort of melancholy, I guess. So that's one of the biggest lessons.
Just writing down admin, and I'm writing down Bree gives me permission
to delegate admin. So am I right in saying I think in human design the language they use is yourself and not self? So there's like a shadow aspect of yourself, and when you're not living your design, that's the not self.
When you're talking about type, it's called a signature and a not self. So your signature as a generator is satisfaction. So when you're doing something in your body, like when you're embodied, not in your mind, you'll feel a real sense of like satisfaction around doing things. And then it goes the other way. When you're in your not self, you get hugely frustrated with whatever you're doing. Yeah, and you'll feel drained and your energy will just drop. And then like with projectors, their signature is success, I believe. And then their not self is bitterness. So if they're doing too much, or they're doing too much of something that they're not really wanting to be doing, then bitterness will come into the picture. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel that big, like, bitterness and
Yeah.
resentment. Yeah, it is. And I
Yeah.
feel that within my being. I feel like I've gotten so much better to involve myself in those things that really I feel valued and appreciated for. I need to be in environments where people, respect like what I have to say, and I'm in my element of like, because projectors are guides as well, because we can take on other people's energy, because my center is quite open, so I'm quite receptive and like quite intuitive to other energy
other
types.
People,
and
I can see
things that they can't see. Which is really quite cool. Yeah.
So, and with projectors, they have to wait for the invitation. So then their energy is there, so they can put the energy forward to those people who are willing to receive it. So a projector in their not self will be trying to like solicit information or ideas onto people who are just not ready to hear it. And that's where like the bitterness starts coming, because you're like, hello, I've got the answer, listen to me. And then the people are just not open to your energy.
Yeah. I've had to stop myself at times. Even just with personal relationships, maybe even not even related to art business, but it's like, I can see what's going on and I want to give you advice, but I have to ask permission. So that it was that permission. Like, do you mind if I just share something like that I see with you? Or is it okay if I share this resource or share this thing? That's a big lesson that I've had to learn. Just not just being like, here, this is a solution for you.
And then people are like, no.
I was actually, that reminds me, I was actually had a friend who was a bit like that, and she's such a beautiful person and has so much to give, but she was too, even for me, she was just too forward with it. And for me, the messaging I received was that she thought I was broken. I'm like, I didn't ask for your opinion. Like, I really love you as a human, but I don't need that right now. And the fact that you're so enthusiastic about giving that to me makes me a little bit worried about what you think about me. So good lesson, Laura.
Can we talk about generators and mani gens? Because Bree, like towards the start of when we were talking about human design, you were saying that quite a lot of artists are. So I feel like that might be just good to like have a little overview. Obviously, Ros is a manifesting generator. So like we are chalk and cheese, and we've talked about this on the podcast too before. Just like the way that we show up in the world is totally different. Taking things slower, needing more time, rest, playing the long game, all of those things with the projects. Ros has heaps of energy, so she's able to like hold that energy and really invest herself in so many amazing creative projects, and these sparks of inspiration like come, and your guns are blazing, like you get so excited. And I do look at that and I have imposter syndrome, but I've learned now to like take a step back and just be like, okay, Ros is a manifesting generator. She's a different energy type to me. I can't compare that, because like I would not be able to have all of those projects on the go. So maybe how that plays out for her.
So I'll start with Ros. I'll do Ros, the manifesting generator. So
I'm scared. Should I be frightened, Bree?
No,
it's all right. I'm ready.
Well, Ros, like you work so perfectly in alignment with your type. You're so like energetic And manifesting generators are often referred to as like superhuman, because they're just doing and doing and doing and doing, and they never seem to really stop.
I'll take it.
So
I'm also writing that down.
Yeah, and that's perfectly aligned as long as they're doing and doing and doing the things that that are lighting them up, and not taking on everyone else's doing as well. So manifesting generators, the type is like, they describe it as they're here to show the potential of the human race. So they're here to pick apart all the pieces and put them all back together. Like, they're finding all the puzzle pieces, and they're non-linear. So they'll jump around from one thing to the other, and they will learn from each experience and bring it together as a whole into a new way of doing, or a new way of thinking, or, you know, influencing the human race that way, so that all the other types can look at them and see, like, oh, this is the potential, this is what we can do. So I just think, yeah, you're just amazingly in alignment with your type.
Yay,
yeah.
It's an accident. It's a happy accident, as Bob Ross would say.
And Laura's really in alignment with her type as well. Yeah. Whereas like pure generators, we're here to be like the builders. We're the builders of the consistency, building, but we have to be doing it in alignment with what we're supposed to be doing, and also not taking on everyone else's doing as well. Yeah, so yeah, they're similar in ways, but they're quite different. The generators are just more of that consistent, like, keep going over long periods of time, whereas manifesting generators will be doing this one week, another thing next week, something else, and then they'll bring all that together into something new. Yeah.
I get bored, actually. Like, I probably have technically too many income streams, for example, but I actually love it. Like, I need that change. I need that variety.
And
I do.
Yeah.
So, you know,
aligned
so
for a Mani-Gen. That's alignment, because Mani-Gens get bored if they get stuck in one thing.
Yeah, 100%.
So, they need that, like, 10 things going on at once. That's how they feel energized and alive. Yeah.
What I'm thinking here, and probably general advice for like overarching, like all the different types, would be, like, you've talked a lot about being in alignment. So thinking about like what is in alignment to you and your art practice and your goals, like what is true to you, what feels good. We want to be doing projects that are lighting us up. That I feel like that would be general across the board. But then I'm also thinking about having firm boundaries, because you're talking about Ros and yourself. You're the doers. You can like handle all these projects, but it's like, what are you using that energy for? Yeah. Are you like distracted with another project that a friend's asked you to do and help out with this thing? And that may not be in alignment, and that may not be fun for you, and that may not light you up in the way.
So it's like someone, you know, coming to you and saying, can you help me move on the weekend? And often, you know, out of guilt and and just like, you're like, oh, I've got the energy, yeah, I can help you, like, of course, but it's not actually in alignment with what you would rather be doing, you know. And it's okay to do those.
I find it very hard to say no. So that's probably then maybe a generator. I know I'm the manifesting type, but you're the straight generator. Maybe that's a generator thing. Really hard to say no.
Yeah, it is hard to say no. And also because as a society, we're conditioned that way as well. So it's a lot about deconditioning, like, belief systems as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I can put my hand up and I can opt out of lots of things. But I learnt the hard way, though, because I burnt out.
And projectors and manifestors and reflectors, when they burn out majorly, like sickness majorly. Yeah.
Oh, this has been amazing. Do you have any further questions, Ros? Do you have any other burning questions?
I just wanted to know if you have any art events coming up, Bree, because I've seen your art in person at Art to Art. Absolutely bleeping stunning. Bleeping's all right to say here, isn't it? Beeping stunning. And I was wondering, if you had any events coming up so our listeners could come and check out your art in person, because I do think there is always a difference between online checking out of art and in person, especially your work, because you use a lot of sort of textured paint or heavy body paint in your work, which is just like, I don't know. I promise I haven't touched your paintings, but I want to touch your paintings.
It's okay if you do.
So yeah, do you have any events coming up, Bree?
In May, I will be in the Brisbane Affordable Art Fair with Art to Art. I can't remember the exact date off the top of my head, but it is in May. Yeah. So
I'm just going to Google.
Are you going up for that? Like, will you be at the actual event, or just your artwork will be represented?
I would love to go up, but I'll have to just wait till closer to the event to see whether I can get up there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, it's on the 9th until the 12th of May.
We'll put that in the show notes as well.
That looks really good. Oh, amazing. Okay, that's great. Thank you for sharing that, Bree. Do you reckon? I reckon we should all have a road trip. We'll just pick you up on the way, Bree.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? That'd be hilarious. Amazing. Now, also, if our listeners would like to go and get a reading with Bree, definitely head to her website. We'll put the link in I was going to say link in the bio. I'm so used to Instagram. Link in the show notes so that you can go and hop on that. But otherwise, if you go to Bree's website, breemorrison.art, and go to her shop, you'll be able to find it in there. So it looks amazing. We've both done it with Bree as well. And she's just got such a gorgeous lens when she does this. It's not just a boring report that spits out some stuff for you. It's like applicable to your specific life. And it's holistic as well, as I was saying before.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
That's right.
It's been amazing chatting with you, Bree. I love nerding out about all of this human design stuff.
I love it too. And really, that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to human design. There's so much more nuance to it. So, if you would like a reading, just let me know.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Bree, for joining us today. If it's okay, I'm going to read a review. Is that all right with you, Bree? That's all right. So we have a review from Petal and Sunray over on Instagram, and she says, whether I'm doing things around the house to try to create more time to paint, planning my next creative steps, or actually painting, I love the natural chatter of Ros and Laura in the background. It makes a difference to have creative encouragement in the quiet space of working from home, and I relate to the challenges they face around being progressively creative. Their openness about their feelings and experiences has created a treasure trove of practical tips, perhaps even more than they realize. So thank you very much to that beautiful artist. Go and give her a follow. She's at pedal_and_sunray, and her art is beautiful. So go and give her a follow. Now, if you haven't yet left us a review, please leave us 5 stars for good karma. On Spotify or over on Apple Podcasts, you can actually leave a written review, and do include your Instagram handle if you are an artist as well, so we can give you a shout out and hopefully get you some more likes and follows over on Instagram. We do have very good listenership at the moment. So get amongst that and get the benefits there by sharing a review with us and your Instagram handle. Does that sound okay, Laura?
Yeah, amazing. Hey,
Thanks
and can
again,
I just
Bree.
drop in here too? If you're an artist and you would like to be interviewed by us, send us a DM. We were talking about that off camera before. More than happy to have a chat to you about your practice. So
that would be great.
Yeah, pop a brave pill.
Oh, that's so good. Find the bravery. Hey, thanks again, Bree, for being with us today.
Thank you. It's been awesome.
Right. Yay.
Thanks, Bree.
Bye.
Check you later. Bye-bye.